You know, this was a game that did not go well under many circumstances. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost in Monday Night Football to the Pittsburgh Steelers 30-27, and it was just a really not fun game to watch. Very frustrating. I want to take you through the first half first and the second half, okay? So this is my immediate reactions. I'll be giving an official review later on, either tomorrow or today or something like that. But talking about the first half first, and this was probably about as bad of a first half as you could get. Just really frustrating penalties, really frustrating drops, specifically from Chris Godwin, and just poor quarterback play. I don't know what was happening in the first half with Ryan Fitzpatrick, but he was just not doing well. There was a lack of communication a little bit on certain things, like the interception that just flew right over Mike Evans' head. There was a batted pass that got intercepted, and then there was another pass that got intercepted that was returned for a touchdown. That was all in the first half. That was awful. That was really bad, okay? It wasn't good. It wasn't good, okay? And obviously there were definitely a lot of positives to this game as well, but just taking you through the game, Fitzpatrick just looked really bad. And you could see on Twitter and whatnot, everybody was calling for Jameis Winston. You know, Jameis Winston come back. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. Fitz tragic and whatnot. And I completely understand. It didn't look good. He was just missing on some open throws. He was just missing guys left and right, poor communication and whatnot. You know, what you could think of to go wrong in the first half for the Bucs went wrong. The running game still wasn't looking that good. They're still having their struggles. Chris Godwin, talking about that real quick, he had a handful, I think he had 3 big drops in the first half, right? Yeah, and a couple of them were contested and whatnot, but if you want to be one of the better all-around receivers in the league, like a lot of people think that he's this emerging star, and I do as well, but if you want to be that emerging star and you want to be that guy eventually, you have to start making plays like this. You know, you have to start making catches, you have to start, you know, actually doing it. So that was pretty disappointing. We didn't see a whole lot of Desean Jackson in the first half, which I thought was pretty surprising. I really would have liked to see him a little bit more, specifically on the deep ball. But fair credit to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They played a really good first half. You know, they were really tight in their coverages. They were getting pressure on Ryan Fitzpatrick. This is the most I've seen Ryan Fitzpatrick pressured, you know, obviously all season, and it was really bad. The difference between the first 2 games and this game was night and day, okay? The offensive line did not perform that well in this game, and I will give it a little bit of credit. You know, it's 2 things, okay? The first thing is that the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive line is really good, and the second thing is that, you know, before this game, it was reported that Ryan Jensen, who is the anchor of this offensive line, he had been got with an illness, and it was even bad to the point where he was having tubes in his nose and whatnot. He was really sick, and he toughed it out, and he decided to play through this game. But you could tell that the offensive line was struggling a little bit in this game. Specifically, you know, DeMar Dodson and Caleb Benenoch, they were not having the best time ever. They were getting penalties, and they were getting beat. Really, all the guys were getting beat either one time or another, and it was showing. And I think part of that was the fact that Ryan Jensen was you know, ill recently, and he was trying to tough through it. But it's hard to play through an illness, you know. That's just hard to do. So I think that definitely factored into the offensive line's poor play in the first half. Taking a look at the defensive side of the ball in the first half, and again, it wasn't good. The Steelers dropped 30 points in the first half, but I will say that as bad as this secondary was, you're going up against you know, an all-pro quarterback, probably a future Hall of Famer in Big Ben Roethlisberger, probably a future Hall of Famer in Antonio Brown when everything's said and done, and Juju Smith-Schuster, who's one of the rising stars in this league. One thing that was really interesting, and a lot of people will put GIFs on it and whatnot, was Vance McDonald just spiking Chris Conte to the ground for a 75-yard touchdown. That helped change, you know, that changed the momentum of the game so drastically. And it was Chris Conte versus Vance McDonald one-on-one, and he just got hurt, and it was a really bad look, and it's going to be memed a lot, okay? It's going to be memed a lot. So that was pretty disappointing to see. And by halftime, the score was 30-10. The Buccaneers had given up 30 points and whatnot. But again, like I said, it's not all the defense's fault. Yes, the cornerbacks were getting beat a whole hell of a lot in this game. but the offense wasn't helping with costly turnovers and giving the Pittsburgh Steelers offense short fields so that they didn't have to go that far to score these points. So that was really disappointing to see. And then the second half came, and things just were insane. I said on Twitter that the Buccaneers needed to score 20 unanswered points to win this game, and they almost did. Now, do not get me wrong. This never should have happened. They never should have had to score 20 unanswered points. That first half was so bad on so many levels. None of that should have happened. They shouldn't have had to put themselves in that deep of a hole. But sometimes in classic Buccaneer fashion, you know, they still manage to go ahead and put themselves in these holes sometimes, and this was a pretty deep hole that they just couldn't bring themselves out of. But the second half was the most positive thing of this game for the Bucs because Fitzpatrick was back on fire, Chris Godwin was looking good, Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, Mike Evans, Desean Jackson, again, all your usual guys. They were looking like the Buccaneers that they looked like the past 2 weeks. But it was too little too late. And even in some of the later portions of the game, like Desean Jackson had an 80-yard kick return or punt return for a touchdown, which, by the way, hey, I'm just saying, I suggested that we use him more in punt returns and kick returns and whatnot, and it works. But Isaiah Johnson had a bad holding call, and that play got negated, and that put the Bucs all the way back to, I believe, the 10-yard line. So that was insanely disappointing to see. And then the final couple of offensive drives, the Buccaneers scored on the second to last one, which was amazing to see. It was a beautiful touchdown from Mike Evans after that holding call that put them all the way back there. But that final drive, Fitzpatrick just was having to throw in these tight windows. The line wasn't giving him enough time. We just weren't able to be clutch in the final drive. And it's so unfortunate because we shouldn't have had to. Like I said, the offense was just so... I don't even want to call it unlucky. They were just making so many stupid mistakes in the first half that they put themselves in this situation and they couldn't dig themselves out of it. So this game's all on the Bucs. They completely made themselves lose this game. I don't think it was a situation that they were beat by the better team. A lot of people were giving the defense crap for most of the game. They held the Steelers to 0 points in the second half. That's impressive. I think 100% that the defense had a good game here. The defensive line got sacks. The secondary, yes, they were getting beat, but they were tired. They were absolutely tired because the offense was turning the ball over in the first half, and they had to keep on going out there, so that's going to make you tired for the rest of the game. I do not think that this is the defense's fault. I think this is all on the first half offense. This game's entirely their fault, in my opinion. So... like I said, the defense played a phenomenal game, okay? And, you know, you can say the secondary and whatnot. I chalk it up to them being tired. All things considered, I think they were just really tired and they weren't able to, you know, they were out there for so long, they were just tired, okay? Point blank, bottom line. They were able to get pressure on Big Ben. Yes, he was eluding sacks here and there, and you need to finish on those. And I will say it was a little bit disappointing considering how the Pittsburgh Steelers were missing the entire right side of their offensive line, but they were still doing their job. They were still getting pressure on Big Ben and sacking him and, you know, causing turnovers in certain situations. Justin Evans had an interception in the first quarter, which was huge. But the offense couldn't capitalize on it, unfortunately. You know, they had some good moments in the second half, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. I will say shout out to Chandler Catanzaro. I thought he played an amazing game. So, with all that being said, I want to know what your guys' opinions are down in the comment section below. What did you think about the defense? I thought that the defense played a very, very good game. You know, this isn't the defense's fault, in my opinion, okay? I thought that they played a good game. I put this all on the first half offense. Ryan Fitzpatrick was turning the ball over. Wide receivers were dropping. You know, Chris Godwin had a couple of really bad drops. And we were just making stupid penalties and making silly mistakes in the first half on the offensive side of the ball. That's what I'd chalk this entire game up to. They gave all the momentum to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first half. The Pittsburgh Steelers were able to score 30 points, put the Bucs in this hole, and the Buccaneers could not dig themselves out of it. That's how it is. So let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comment section below. I know the backdrop's different. I'm actually in the great state of Maryland right now, so that's where I'm going to be until the 30th, and I will be flying home on the 30th. So yeah, I should be making more videos here and in different settings and whatnot because I'm visiting family and whatnot. So it is what it is. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, you know, thank you so much for watching this video. And as always, I will see you in the next one. But until then, and as always, goodbye for now. And go Bucs.